Look, I think Michigan State's a fine team, but show of hands, who had Michigan State just blowing the doors off Kentucky in the Champions Classic tonight? DK, did you?
No, didn't have my hand.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today, Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners. How on earth are we all doing? That's a dumb question. We're all doing fantastic, unless you are one of those haters that cry every year, oh, why is Michigan State in the Champions Classic? Oh, they don't deserve to be in here. And then you watch them beat the brakes off of Kentucky. Well, I know how everyone else is doing outside of that. Please rate, review, subscribe, and thank you for tuning into Locked On Spartans, part of the number one ranked Locked On Podcast Network. And guys, we are joined by the one, the only, the Pope of all things Michigan State basketball. It's Dave Klein. And DK, my goodness gracious, your Spartans 83, Kentucky 66. And I'm comfortable in saying was not even that close, quite frankly. This was a teeth-kicking from the start. I want to begin the conversation here, DK. It's a simple question. Biggest takeaway from the game, because there's a lot of ways you can go. We've been all waiting for that ball to go through the hoop from three-point land. 50% shooting, 11 threes went down. You had three guys in double figures. The offense exploded tonight. And also, well, in Michigan State fashion, there were many stretches in the second half where I'm looking at the stat sheet, and Michigan State almost had double the amount of rebounds Kentucky had. They just walloped them on the boards. The final split there with the rebounds was just a casual 42-28. But DK, not to be contrarian, I know the offense was great. I know the three-point shooting was awesome. But my God, the twinkle in my eye goes to that defense. Are you kidding me? Holding Kentucky to 27% shooting in the first half. They had so many rushed, panicked looks. They never could really get settled in there. And yes, Kentucky was missing a player or two with injuries. One of those guys is the guy who sets the table on offense. But still, they had Kentucky seeing ghost out there on defense. That was my biggest takeaway. This defense came in as a top 10 defense. That's going to be the calling card all season long. My God, DK, I'm so sorry. I hogged the air. Please talk. Please give the people some DK wisdom.
You hog it as much as you want, baby. This is your show.
I do forget that.
I think that's a good takeaway. I mean, the defense was obviously special tonight. I think that's the one thing that this team's going to be able to lean on as their calling card throughout the season, because we know that this team's probably going to revert a little bit closer to the mean. Are they as bad a shooting team as we've seen? I don't know. I don't think so. Were they as good as they were tonight? No. We know they're not going to just come out and all of a sudden hit 11 3-pointers. Right? We're probably, 6 to 7 a night. Can we just hit that? I think we'd all be happy. We're averaging 4.3 as we came into the season. So I think my biggest takeaway from what we've seen so far is twofold. One, I think that the ceiling is a little bit higher than I think I was going to give them credit for at the start of the season. I think that this type of performance in this type of spot on a neutral, exercising some of the demons that we've seen in Madison Square Garden,
certainly.
To me, this just was kind of like, you know what? We're just kind of tougher than you are, right? We just put on our big boy pants, put on the hard helmets. We're going to beat you on the glass. And, oh, guess what? You guys are a good shooting team. You guys have been averaging 90 points. We're going to turn on the offense for this game just for fun. And I think that when you look at the way that this team was constructed, you were a little bit concerned about where some of the scoring was going to come, where some of the offensive pop was coming. Tonight, it came from Teng and McCulloch, like two guys that have struggled a little bit.
Of course, right.
Early in the season. I thought Teng started growing a little bit more confidence that last game. But we really got to see kind of the full package of what he is in terms of the movement shooter, off those pin down curls. You kind of got the full Teng experience. I thought he just looked comfortable and poised tonight.
Yep.
And we've been kind of looking at like who's going to fill that two spot, and then we get that type of performance tonight. It could be any given night for any given guy. It feels like that's kind of what it was last year until Jace took the reins. I think this year it's just going to be, you're going to get good performances out of Fears and Kohler most nights, and then you hope that you're getting a couple extra guys to come along the way. It wasn't Coop and Carr really tonight. It was some of the other guys. Then that's okay. That's the way that Michigan State is constructed this year.
I just got to go back to a conversation we had yesterday, and this was on the Locked On Network. We did a little roundtable with all 4 teams competing, and Lance Daw, who does a great job with Locked On Kentucky, we were doing predictions at the end, and he said if Kentucky doesn't score at least 70, because I think my final score was actually Michigan State 72, Kentucky 68, and this isn't like trash talk. Like, Lance is awesome. But he said if Kentucky doesn't score 70 with the weapons that they have, like, he's going to burn Rupp Arena down. So if there is an arsonist out there in Lexington, if on the local news it pops up down there that something caught on fire, I don't want to incriminate my guy here, but yeah, it might just be him. But God, they made it so irritating for Kentucky. And it was actually, I think, reported during the game that Kentucky players were shouting at each other in the huddle as they were down 14. And it didn't really seem like, like the fun kind of shouting that we've seen with some Michigan State teams that galvanize a team. Like, they seem really at wit's end with each other there. That's just that pesky Michigan State defense. So real great team effort. The shots going in certainly helps. But DK, from an individual standpoint, where do you give the MVP honor to tonight? Because look, going into this game, I said that Jaxon Kohler is going to have the biggest game here. He's got to stretch the floor. He's got to rebound. And he just had a ho-hum 5 rebounds, which is very low for him. But woo-wee, 2 3-pointers, 20 points. I mean, Jeremy Fears, he was great. 8 points. But you don't look at that. You look at the 13 assists. You look at how he sets the table on defense with his 3 steals. And outside of him, Kur Teng, just a smooth 15 points off the bench. So many ways to go here for who you're crowning as the MVP. I'm going to go Jaxon Kohler. He had the most points, and, that helps early on in the game, too, when he got off to a hot start like he did. What say you, though? Are you going to go a different direction here, DK?
Yeah, I think I am. I think it's kind of to that point where we need to start giving Fears the flowers a little bit. And I get that the total point production is just shy of maybe kind of hitting that double digits where we're going to get a double-double. But it feels like every night he's going to flirt with like a 10 and 12 game. And I think coming into the season, we kind of chalked him up. He needs to be around a double-digit scorer. Yep. And now he's like a double-digit assist guy, no doubt. He grabbed 6 boards, 3 steals. I thought in the second half, particularly when Kentucky went on a couple runs there, kind of pushed into the point spread. He had a couple big steals. He kind of helped settle the team. I mean, I just think that the steps and the growth that we've seen from Fears in this early part of the season is just really exciting. I mean, it's wild to think that this guy can be in a Michigan State uniform for a couple more years. And I'm really excited about just seeing the way that he kind of has taken this team and, really made it his own. So I think I'm going to go Fears here, but, I think that there's no really wrong answer, and Kur Teng definitely deserves, I think a lot of us were shipping him down the river after the first couple games, and for him to be looking the way that he did and the confidence that he comes back, I think it's a reminder that this early season is a time to work out some kinks. There's going to be some down slopes. You're going to see some performances that are stinky from guys and some that are really good. And kind of this first third of the season, this first 10 games is setting kind of a barometer for maybe the top and the bottom of where you are and seeing where guys find water. And I think we're starting to see that with some of the guys, especially Fears and Kohler.
Really quick before we cut it to a break here, I do just want to talk about Kur Teng here, because in the first 5 games, and I'm including the exhibition games here, what wasn't outstanding. I was starting to get a little nervous, saying it's got to get going. It's got to get going soon. 15 points against that Kentucky team in Madison Square Garden, where, DK, I don't know about you, I have no good memories of watching this team play in Madison Square Garden, in the Champions Classic. You add all those things, and he's looking like senior year Josh Langford out there. The stroke was looking buttery out there, DK. Look, I'm not saying he's going to go out and score 15 for you every single night, or he's going to guarantee to hit 3 3-pointers every night, but all that kind of just erased the concern that I had moving forward. I'm ready to start this with a clean slate. Should we come back to it one day? I guess, but man, he just looked too calm, too cool, too collected out there for that just to be a nothing burger. I really loved what I saw from Kur Teng out there, so I just had to add that in. If you want to give him any more flowers, by all means. If not, DK, I got an ad read to do, but hey, if you want to pile on the Kur Teng fun.
I'll add one little caveat to that.
Please.
I think Teng obviously deserves huge credit for the way that he came out and shot the ball tonight. The 2 spot is the spot where we circled in. We're like, oh, was somebody going to just take charge of this or not? And then
Yeah.
Fort comes out and has 13 points. We haven't talked about him. Obviously, a little higher volume, 5 for 12 tonight, but he hits 3 threes. And between the two guys, you end up getting, 28 points for a spot that's been really struggling. And I think, again, it kind of speaks to like this team's maybe a little deeper than we thought, and maybe the ceiling's a little bit higher, especially if they're going to come out and you're going to get that kind of performance from the spot where maybe you have the biggest question marks for them.
We're going to keep talking about this game, guys, because what else would we talk about? We might get into the recruiting class here a little bit. It is all basketball on this show for the second show in a row. Let's keep on smiling. Guys, and also keep the action going with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because, you know what? I had a little same-game parlay today. I had over Jaxon Kohler 15 points. I had over 8 Jeremy Fears rebounds. Now, this is sounding pretty good so far. But I also do a silly little thing. It's called Hedge My Happiness, and I did also add Kentucky money line into that one. I am thrilled to have lost that bet, let me tell you. But, guys, whether it's betting on games that you want to be involved in, that you do have a rooting interest in, or do what I do during the NBA season, I don't really care about any team. Hey, you know what? You place the same game parlay, that's going to keep you involved in that game. Even if you miss the start of a game where you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to the fourth quarter comebacks that happen seemingly every night in the NBA. And you can even combine these live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. Keeps every game more exciting, especially when it's your team making that late game push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com, sign up today and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Also, holiday season, it's going to be here before you know it. Just take care of the shopping right now for the family, friends, or even yourself, guys, with Alumni Hall. Because they're going to take care of you with the top licensed gear from all the top brands you could ever want. We're talking Nike, Columbia, Champion, Yeti, New Era, so much more. They have apparel for the entire family, from kids to adults, plus a huge selection of hats, gifts, and all the tailgating gear you can need to make your setup the best in the lots this season. And they really take care of the Spartan community. Michigan State students, faculty, as well as military and all first responders. You get 10% off with a valid ID in the store. Also, guys, follow them on social media. Download the Alumni Hall app. Way more specials and deals going on there. So pop into Alumni Hall in the Eastwood Town Center in Lansing near the Apple Store, or shop online or through their app. And best part is, for every $150 you spend, you will get $10 in Hall cash to use for the next time. So grab that new game day look or upgrade your tailgate with Alumni Hall, your ultimate Michigan State shopping destination. Let's drag him back out here. The one, the only Dave Klein, as if he needs any introduction. DK, I got to say, this is more of a big-ish picture thing I'm about to bring up. But, man, it's just nice to be in the barn with a win against Arkansas, win against Kentucky, because as is every year under Tom Izzo, it's a monster of a non-conference schedule. You had the Arkansas, Kentucky game, but also North Carolina. You also have Duke. The fact that at worst you're going to be 500 in that non-conference before you get into Big Ten play, that brings here comes a hot take. That brings a smile to my face. That makes me happy that you are building these great quad one wins before the season even really gets going in Big Ten play. So I had to just shout the big picture right there. What win impressed you more, though? It's a dumb question. It's got to be this one.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be this one. Obviously, I think that it's a stepping stone, right? It almost felt like that win at home against Arkansas reminded me a little bit of the UNC game a year ago, where it was like they kind of played a little bit of a gross game. They had to grind one out, some mistakes late, and they somehow survived.
Right.
And it just felt like they gained some momentum and confidence after that. And then, we come out, they have a really good first half, and then the second half is not so good, and Izzo gets to do what he does best, which is kind of lay into him for a 19-point win, which was perfect.
That's right.
And then they're able to kind of stack it in tonight. But I think obviously on a neutral and MSG, again, we've had just such a bad history at that place to shoot as well as they did. I don't know. That was just that was one of those games where I just kept texting people like, what the heck is going on? I don't really understand. We're just going to come out and instead of pounding the middle and scoring points, we're just going to knock down a bunch of threes.
That's right. Just bombs over Baghdad. We're just going to completely light them up. Ain't going to know what hit them. It's going to be great.
Sometimes hoops goes that way, right? You see a couple of shots go down and the rim feels like it's an ocean and everybody gets to throw it in. So, again, it was just nice to see for this group of guys. I feel like from the get-go, I kind of like the way that this team is constructed in terms of just like general personalities. I think this is just kind of a tough, gritty, grindy team.
Yeah.
And so to see them maybe, hit some shots and have a little finesse mixed in with it. Today, this type of game, regardless of opponent, because I really don't think it mattered who was on the other side tonight, the way that they shot the ball and the way that they played. I think they would have beat most teams at this point in the season. But I do think that we saw just like a little glimpse of when it all goes right, what could it potentially look like? And that is a nice thing to have kind of in your pocket, and for Izzo to be able to kind of coach for the rest of the season. Like, guys, this wasn't our best effort. Remember this game. Remember what happened in this circumstance. So I think to have something like that this early in the season, to see like the flashes, which I thought we'd take to January or February to see something like that. It just really it surprised me.
You know what? I don't actually normally do this. We're just going to share some YouTube comments as we go along here, because Corporal Stiffy, which I'm sure that's a birth-given name, that's good. The team looks to be super connected. The way they were all acting after the game in that interview, I mean, by way of the power of friendship that they seemingly clearly do have right now, also just the physicality that you're going to get every single game, the defense that you're going to get, the effort and rebounding. Man, you just add that fifth element of just like an offense that can make jump shots. Nights like tonight, they truly seem like an unstoppable team this year. Now, the caveat is like they're not going to be a 50% shooting team. I think that they are still going to overall struggle. But hey, you're going to have nights like this where it's going to pop up. It's going to make you smile a whole lot, DK, just like it did make us smile. And like we talked about the ceiling being raised a little bit on this team, maybe even better than what we could have ever thought going into the year. But how about the opposite? What's the floor for this team now? Because I came into the year, I threw a pretty wide net out there, I think. I said, like, I could see them bottoming out at like a 8 seed, maybe 9 seed if things don't really go their way. Maybe the best that they can get is like a 3-4 seed. But, man, again, we got a lot of games left, man. I don't want to, like, jinx this. I do want to knock on wood here. But, man, at this point, this doesn't seem like a team that's going to fall to an 8-9 seed unless, like, some injuries happen or the Big Ten becomes even more of a behemoth than any of us realize, which I guess is possible. But the floor's been raised too on this team, in my opinion, DK. Where did you start the season and where are you at right now as far as the floor goes?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my cautious optimism had this team maybe 4th for 6 in the finish in the Big Ten, maybe earning somewhere around, a 5-6 seed. That's kind of what I thought that this team on the high side could be. I think obviously to have these two in your pockets, you get UNC on Thanksgiving, you get Duke in the crib. You find a way to go 3-1, somehow win that game on Thanksgiving and the momentum's all in your favor at home against Duke. That place is going to be a crazy hornet's nest.
Sure is.
I don't know. Again, I think that tonight showed you that maybe there's a little higher upside than potentially they have to obviously go out and win the games. But we've seen some warts from other teams. I think right now Purdue and Illinois have, separated themselves a little bit in terms of some of their performances. But then a performance like this for Michigan State, to me, kind of has them maybe swinging back kind of into that mix. So, I think the schedule sets up to allow Michigan State potentially to get off to a decent start in Big Ten play. And if you can find a way to at least split the last two kind of big non-conference games, don't take, a black eye anywhere else. Mm-hmm. This can be a top 4 seeded team, right? You go 3-1 in those non-conference games against quad 1 opponents, and the conference is going to be tough on a night in and night out basis, but you also feel like you have a shot every single night, the way that this team is defending and rebounding and some of the depth that it has and starting to show. I think, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that this team can earn a double bye, can find themselves as a top 4 seed when it comes. Obviously, a long way to go.
Yeah.
But I think that the early signs are pretty good that this team is connected and that this team, at its principal foundations, which is defending and rebounding the basketball, are going to do that on a nightly basis. And I think at the very least, the floor becomes infinitely safer once you feel like this team has kind of put that together. And I didn't see it in the exhibition games at all. And now we kind of see it full tilt. And, I spoke a little bit in the offseason that, like, I know that there's a lot of pieces missing, but like the front court's still there and the rebounding's still there. And I think the defense could still be there.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see a little bit of that. And I guess I'm surprised that it's happened as soon as it has, but I'm very thankful that this is the early return from basically what they play down. So
thankful for all things Michigan State basketball, starting with Tom Izzo. And I want to start next segment on just like some beautiful irony that, I've noticed. I've already seen a few people comment on something like this too, but we just have to give attention to it. But first, really quick, guys, you need to talk your ears off about Gametime. That's right, the greatest ticketing app out there. Now, hey, let's say you want to see Michigan State basketball hoop it up against U of D on Friday at Breslin Center, 6:30. Someone that's talking right now may or may not be there. Gonna be a great time, and you already know it. Hey, we're looking at Gametime for the tickets, or do what I just did for this Michigan State football game at Ford Field. Yes, I am a sick enough person to want to go to that game. Saw a flash deal I cannot turn down. It was $25, lower bowl, right there on the Gametime app, guys. If you're a sick enough puppy to want to see that football team too, well, at least save money while you do it, right? Like, don't spend money you don't have to see that product. Go ahead, spend it, save it, do it all with Gametime, because the flash deals like I got in 2 weeks until kickoff, we're saving money, or the last-minute ticket deals. Let's say you just wake up that Saturday and you realize, I want to see the season end in person. That's right. Hey, you can save money either way, guys. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Now let's drag it back out. Here's the one, the only Dave Klein. And let me say this. Like, I got no problem with Kentucky. Like, I know a lot of people hate them. They're just like, to me. They got a lot of season left. They could turn this all around. Michigan State season can also, flip over to in the next few weeks or months. But right now, in the moment, realizing the irony here of, hey, here's Tom Izzo, upperclassman led, keeping these guys in the program, not really recruiting over any guys, whether it be positionally out of high school or, more importantly, in the transfer portal. That's right. These are my guys. I'm sticking to them. Yes, I will use the transfer portal, but just only in needed roles, not to jump over upperclassmen that have earned their way on the court. And then there's Kentucky. And you saw it today. And there are some Kentucky fans on Twitter, too. The effort level, questionable. The chemistry, even more questionable. Mark Pope, even before this game, said that he does not like where his team is at early on in the year. That's a roster that has a rumored price tag of $22 million by way of recruiting and more so transfer portal. Can't help but just to recognize that irony of there is old Tom Izzo, 7 years old, stubborn as hell, doing it his own way and putting the belt to the behind of Kentucky and the ATM that they have over there. I just had to recognize that irony. Like, Tom was probably right all along. Like, he will do it his way or die trying. So good on him.
Yeah. To that point, I think that what you've seen from a lot of teams, I mean, listen, it's not the case for every single team. There's some nice teams that are put together every year and perform well out of the transfer portal. You know, guys that find the right mix of guys and it ends up working out.
Worked okay for Florida last year, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah, 100%.
Just a little.
But I think the flip side of that is, the early adversity that you're more likely to face when you have a team that's playing kind of brand new together and you're trying to figure out what those pieces look like. The one thing that you can say about Michigan State, good, bad, or ugly, he knows what he has because he's had these guys for multiple years. He's got guys in the system where now you have a Carson Cooper and a Kohler who've been there for 4 years. You have Fears who's been there. I know he's only been playing 2.5, but been there for 3 years. You have Carr that's been there 3 years. It's an anomaly now to keep that much of a core collectively together. And I think that we're so used to in the offseason kind of getting enamored with the shiny toys that come in through the transfer portal. And just I think that maybe more so than ever, this has just got to be such a sweet victory for him when he looks across the way. They spent all this money, got all these guys from all these places. Yeah. And he's like, you know what? I just kind of put it together with a little glue and spit, and I trust my development. And the couple guys that I got, the freshmen I found, they weren't 5 stars, but they were decent 4 stars. We found a couple guys, and we're just tougher than you because guess what? We're not getting paid all this money, and you know what? It's more about the team than it is about the individual cashing that paycheck. So I think it was just a sweet, like, I don't know, just a sweet spot. And I know that he rails on it all the time. He rails on the portal and he rails on all the rest of it. But for him to be able to kind of have this spot and then back it up with what he's put together on the roster, I mean, that's got to feel pretty good if you're Tom Izzo. I think you're cracking a cold one or putting some dark liquor on ice tonight and saying, yeah, I think I did all right this season.
Yeah, there's a YouTube commenter right now. We have it up on the screen right now, but I'll read it off for all the podcast listeners. Cruddy Pa, Matt's hot take, Tom might be a good coach. Keep your eye on it. He might know what he's doing here. More so, look, I was kind of one of these people for at least maybe a week in that 2022 season where, maybe this isn't going to work. Like, just doing it his way is not going to work. And, a lot of national media, too, were very suspect on if Tom Izzo can build and maintain a winning program, just doing it his way, but slightly modified towards this modern era, but not modified enough. Tonight was just a reminder, as if last season wasn't a big enough reminder, that he still got it. He could still do it. Like, it still does work against all odds because, I was a little bit of a doubter for a brief moment of time, but hey, we all have stupid thoughts in our lives sometimes, don't we, DK? Look, before we let you go here, we might get to a mailbag question, but before that, I did just want to bring up this number one ranked recruiting class for 2026. Ho-hum. Look, latest guys, Ethan Taylor, Josiah Jervis. You obviously have Carlos Medlock. You have Julius Avent. What guy are you looking forward to the most playing next year just as a freshman? I mean, let's just do the conversation that way, DK.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Josiah Jervis for me. I obviously love a nice big man. Ethan Taylor, welcome to the fold. But
that's
I
nice.
think, more than anything, what this roster has missed a little bit, I think in spots, what eventually may end up capping the total ceiling on this team is just a guy that can go get a bucket from all different levels, from all three levels. He can shoot it. He's a movement shooter. He's an off-the-dribble shooter. He can pull up in the mid-range. He's physical. He's above-average athlete finishing around the rim. And he wants to defend and play like a Bronx kid that's just tough as nails. Like, everything about Jervis just screams Michigan State, in my opinion. And the fact that they, kind of fought off, a couple bag-giving type programs to be able to ensure that he's in the fold. To me, I think the biggest win of the cycle, not discounting Taylor at all, who I absolutely love and obviously is ranked even higher, is got to be Josiah Jervis for me. So I'm really excited, I think, with the roster construction, the way that it's kind of shaken out so far, to insert him along with what you're starting to see from some of the other guys, Scott and Tang and the rest of it. I'm really excited to see how much depth Michigan State can have with what's coming in.
No question. We got two mailbag questions. These are both sent over to us, lockedonspartans@gmail.com. Look, we'll just for sure do one, maybe two. We'll see how we're doing on time here. But Darren writes in, Izzo gets his second natty to shut the haters up, but MSU football keeps Jonathan Smith and goes 0-12 the next 3 years. Do you take it? Dave, we will go to you first.
Oh. If Michigan State wins a natty in the next couple of years, you can give me 10 years of just awful no-win football. You know who I am.
You stole my answer.
It's a no-doubter for me. If he gets the second one, I can sail off into the sunset. Like, I will be at that game. I will be in tears probably, and I will not care one iota about what happens with the football team basically the rest of my life. So that's how bad I want it for him. So
I get it, man.
It's a pretty easy one for me.
That is literally like what I was about to say. It's like you could bump that up to a smooth decade of winless football, which based on the latest NCAA ruling, we're already halfway through that. What's another 5-6 years on top of that? Yeah, all to see Tom Izzo win his second one. I mean, look, it's not even just selfishly like how good it would make us feel. Like, yes, that's most of it. Let's not get it twisted here, but what Tom Izzo has meant for this university, I mean, just being here for this long, all the things that he's seen here, being just a mainstay figure in what would outside of men's basketball be a largely turbulent athletic department. I mean, this man just deserves all happiness. So it would just be awesome to see him get it done. Football, look, I'm obviously a football fan. I watch every game still. I will root for the green and white, but like you're also dead to me for the meantime. So I'll keep you dead for another 5-6 years if it means that Izzo gets to ride off into the sunset with Natty number 2. That'd just be delightful. One more question. This is a fun one. This could be a quick one, though. This was a YouTube comment, actually. The Dimeba writes in, the most fun regular season Spartan football or basketball game since blank. Now, basketball, you don't got to go too far. I'm actually just going to go with last year's at Illinois basketball game when they were down 1 trillion points, like within the first 5 minutes, and then won by 2 trillion points at the very end. That was a lot of fun for regular season games. For football, I don't know. I don't even want to think of how long it's been since I felt something.
I think here. Probably my most enjoyable game. Obviously, the Ole Miss game was just like painful, but the end result was just jubilation. So that one was nice at the end, but maybe not as aesthetic.
But that was postseason. On a technicality, that's postseason, though.
Okay, so regular season. And I would say
right.
The game at Michigan where they were tied, and it was like, I don't know if it was 2 top 10 matchup or 2 top 15. And Michigan State kind of won like a no-doubter by double digits, and just like, we're like, yeah, you guys, we're better than you. So I think that probably then is my my favorite regular season victory.
God, last season was just so fun. What a fun season it was last year.
Maybe we'll have another one. Who knows?
I was going to say, you don't even better than having a great last season.
Know. I mean, it's exceeding all of my expectations for the early part of this season. So, and given the way that the football season went, don't you think we deserve it? We really do.
I need like one of those like prayer candles, but like with Tom Izzo's face on it, just like for nights like this. Just going to bed, lighting it right on the headboard, and just saying prayers until I fall asleep. Right to that guy. The things he has done for us, DK, just cannot be thanked enough. Just like I can't thank you enough for joining the show, man. I mean, I figured that we'd have a fine chat regardless of the outcome, but my God, going BTA against Kentucky. Oh my God, that made this chat even all the more fun. So DK.
Yeah, for the record, the group doesn't even know it, obviously, but we planned this ahead of time. So we did not know that this was going to be such a joyful show. We thought maybe there was a chance. We were talking about, performed well, but couldn't quite get over the hump, shot like crap again. But no, we didn't get that. We just got like a nice early 6:30 type game. We got to bed at a reasonable time. Like, wow, this is
Denim Wojcik dishing out assist.
This was perfect.
On your a lot of ways.
Tuesday night, if there's such a thing.
I would say that is a good Tuesday night here. I mean, against all this, amongst all the things that could have been on the bingo card, I got to say, Denim Wojcik Champions Classic assist tonight. Did not have that one down.
We got Denim Wojcik like 3 minutes to go.
Dimes. Dimes.
Did not see that one coming. I did not.
Cinema. Just cinema. God, I already can't wait for Friday. All right, guys. Hey, we're going to be back because, we do this right here, Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week right here on the #1 ranked Locked On Podcast Network. Now, I do have to end on a bit of a sad note here because, yes, we will be back tomorrow. It will be back to football talk. I'm sorry. I know. Like, I'm not happy with it either, but we got a lot of things to talk about. And then we'll talk about basketball eventually because they do play U of D on Friday. But until then, take care of yourselves. Love you all, especially you, DK. You're the best, man. Go green, guys.
Go white.